ComeonyespursTV again, Afrobeat section of Tottenham with Chuma, my acolyte, as I called him the last time. Oh my God, acolyte. Right, welcome again. How are you guys? How are you, Chuma?
I'm super good. Welcome to the acolyte section of the Spurs fan base. If this is your first time watching, welcome. If you're a returning viewer and you haven't clicked on the subscribe button, you rock with us, please subscribe. Like the video for the algorithm. Comment, share, click on the notification bell to get notified when we post new videos or new content. I would love to hear from you. Love to hear your views on what we've talked about before. Ange in, Ange out, ENIC in, ENIC out. And now this is just generally just reviewing Spurs' last game and previous games as well. So as always, we remain Come On Ye Spurs.
Come on, ye Spurs, indeed. Right, so let's get down to nitty gritty. A lot has been happening in the Spurs world in the last, God knows, few weeks. We had all of the usual discussions around Ange's position, the club, not necessarily issuing a statement, but you hear that he has confidence on the board, 100%. Sometimes I get worried when I hear that word that he has confidence on the board. That's almost like a prelude to his but it is what it is. That's the nature of football, and we are in a position where we're not that highly placed in the league. I think we're 12th at the moment, and the form before now has not been that great in terms of But however, I think barring maybe 2 or 3 matches in that spell, I don't think we played badly at all in any of those matches. If anything, we actually played very well. Maybe we were not as clinical as we should have been in some of the matches, or we had some whereby maybe individual errors, or maybe some brilliant play from the opposition, which you can't rule that out. That's the nature of football, And we've lost quite a number of games that have put us in that position. But incredibly, we're still the second highest scoring team in the league. Incredibly so, in terms of until the Liverpool match, we can actually consider the least number of goals, So you have this big conundrum of thinking, okay, fine. Some people say that the reason we're in that position is because Ange has been stubborn. He hasn't been, tactically astute in terms of adapting his game plan to suit particular games, and he's kind of lost the plot when it comes to game management or maybe the tactics or style that he adopts in his play. The funny thing about that, for me, I kind of actually take a contrary view to thought. I'm not sure if you share the same perspective, because I'm thinking to myself, okay, this same old tactically naive Ange, right? Beat Man City twice in the space of how many, and okay, fine. They might say, oh, Man City on a downward spiral. But you gotta be what's in front of you, if you can't be what's in front of you. So it's almost like, oh yeah, if you beat them, you're down a downward spiral. If you don't beat them, you couldn't beat them in a downward spiral. So what do you want to do? So, but the truth of the matter is that, look, we've seen plays when handball works a treat, and when it works, it's fantastic, right? Now, for me, games we've lost have not been as a result of tactical ineptitude or because the team of the system. A lot of it has been down to errors. If that's my own view, right? People are going to come with different. So play a suicidal high line. But I think for a lot of people who just sort of latch on to narratives and say that, oh, he plays a certain system, and that's the system that results in goals, right? So I'm thinking to myself, hang on, but look at the actual goals that are actually scored against us. They were not as a result of those so-called areas of concern that people have sort of addressed. I sort of mentioned. I say, oh, high line. The other narratives that we don't defend What are those things called again? Set pieces, very well, and Ange technically, hey, but a lot of the goals, when you look at all the goals, you think to yourself, okay, fine. Do you see any tactical naivety when someone does an overhead kick in your penalty box? That's not the tactical naivety, So I'm thinking to myself, so yeah, in every game you're going to find winners and losers, right? And that's the nature of the game. You hope your team, or you want your team to be on the winning side all the time, but the reality of the matter is that you cannot always win, right? So that's the first point. Second point is that I'm not, and then again, that is not subscribing to that so-called word of mediocrity that some people like to sort of bandy that word about us, But the truth of the matter is that, look, we remain very competitive in games. We hardly ever been overrun in any game. Okay, we considered 6 goals against Liverpool. I can't tell you what happened in that match, but no matter that, look, I don't know any team that concedes 6 goals and still goes on to score 3 goals, in the same match. So it's like, guys, let's get a bit of a grip, if you like. That's my perspective. And we had this new addition. We're going to talk about him in this episode. Anthony Kinski. I mean, come on. What a buy. What a debut that man had against Liverpool.
No, so I'm with you in terms of, I personally think people have said this word, Ange doesn't adapt. Ange plays in one way. He only plays in one way. And I said, okay, fair enough. He plays in one way. The one way, when it works, is perfect. When it doesn't, is a problem. So he needs a plan B. I remember the same talk of Pochettino. Pochettino needs a plan B. But now the same people are reminiscing about Pochettino like Pochettino was the best thing since sliced bread, which of course he was at the time, But now they're reminiscing about that, going, oh my God, it was so great. I said, well, weren't you the guy shouting there was no plan B then? Now you're not saying, oh, remember when we played under Poch? But I'll leave that aside. Then you have the situation where individualized mistakes, like you said, we considered the fewest goals because we were losing by the odd goal. We never lost by like 2 goals. We always do like 1-0, to Ipswich, or 2-1 to Pat, something like that. We always lost by the odd goal. That's why our goal difference was never really that bad. And of all the teams in the bottom half at the moment, where we are, 12th, we have the best goal difference. Like, we have the goal difference of a team that's supposed to be in the top 4. And that just goes to show you my opinion that it's just, like we said, it's just fine margins. And those fine margins were individualized mistakes. And just tweaked a lot of things that people aren't noticing, or some people have noticed. But like I said, the narrative always rules. So the narrative is he's naive, he's all-out attack, he's like Bielsa. No. He's like Kevin Keegan. So all these things have been bandied about. You have the Jamie Carragher's, you have the Gary Neville's, you have the Jamie Redknapp's. All these guys come out and say what they have to say as ex-players or as people who we've been in winning cultures and we know how people win. Like, there will never be another way of winning ever in the world. It's just one way of winning, which is fair enough. I understand that. And I understand where they're coming from. It's the reality that they know. However, this guy has created a system. He has a way he plays, and he's won in the past historically. Yes, not in the English league with it, but he's saying it can work here. You have to give it time to work. But nobody wants to have that kind of patience, like we spoke about in the previous episode about the microwave mindset. Spurs have played very well. In the course of the season, we've discovered so many different things about Spurs. And one of the things I've come to realize is I think the tweak should not even be tactical. The tweak should be in terms of the pace, the high octane back and forth. I've noticed that because we don't have that high octane back and forth when we play the big teams, we are more settled, and that's why we hit them, and they are scared of us. But when we play the quote-unquote smaller teams, we are high octane, and when we lose, these guys are doing the opposite to us. They are staying calm, and then they counter and they score. So if we can find a way to get that balance, which I think is what Ange has been working on, is trying to get that balance of let's not be, you can't be too gung-ho on both sides, like gung-ho. No. You have to pick and choose. When we play the bigger teams, and I think it's a case of whoever has the most possession or struggles for possession is what determines our games. We play against a Liverpool, a Newcastle, City, they are trying to get possession as well. They are possession-based teams or teams that use the ball very well when they get it. So we are now going 50-50 with them as opposed to when we have 70% of the ball and the other team has 30% and we're trying to be comfortable. I think it leaves a lot of gaps. But those gaps, if you look at the system, if it was that we had the proper players, e.g. Van de Ven, Romero, in those systems, it would help a lot more with closing those gaps. But the players deputizing aren't as good. But against Liverpool, you saw it. Liverpool played a very strong 11. Let's not make any mistakes about that. That was a very strong 11. Mohamed Salah played. Now, the thing is, like you said, whenever we win, the question always comes to, well, City were poor. City were on a downward spiral. I've heard the Liverpool were poor. Also, you guys scammed the win because Bergvall fouled Tsimikas. Tsimikas was off the pitch. That was his wing. I've heard all these things. Always a problem with your position when Spurs win. It's never like Spurs played very well. Spurs played a very contained and very mature game. Some fans are saying this is adaptation they've been shouting about. But I'm like, we've been playing this way. He's changed the press. We're not pressing full out anymore at the top. He's still playing a high line. But it's different because now in those kind of games where he knows Liverpool are going to get the ball and Liverpool want to use the ball, you can't press the same way, and he changed the press. And then also in the Liverpool game, having a goalkeeper who can use his feet, like you said, what a debut! Like it's literally, take a bow, Kinski. Kinski showed what Man City have had with Ederson and having joy, because that young man, Slavia Prague fans were raving about him on X. And I said, how good could he be? I watched clips. Yeah, he's all right. He's a good player. But my God, to have the stones, the audacity, the gall to come out and just start pinging passes with his feet, positioning himself to collect the ball. That one where he raised the ball over the attacker's head to catch it. I was like, the cheek. I was like, this guy he's box office already. One game, this guy is box office. And by doing what he did, everyone noticed it. He was passing out from the back to the centre back. If the centre backs get pressed, he chips it over to the fullbacks, Porro and Spence. If that closed off as well, he pings it. There was a beautiful ball from him to Sonny. Sonny killed that dead. Like, we're like, oh my God, we've never had a keeper do that like that. And as much as we love Vicario, we love Vic with all our hearts, we finally said, my goodness, Vic is in trouble. Yeah. Vic is in trouble because this boy is a prototype of Ange goalkeeper. Which is what exactly we've always wanted to foster an environment of competition at Spurs. I personally think the better the competition, the better Spurs will play. And we're looking at this, and we're looking at this 3 players: Kinski, Archie Gray, and Lucas Bergvall. Archie Gray is honorable mention every single game that young man plays, because I have never seen an 18-year-old play right back, left back, centre back in a season and make it seem so effortless.
Absolutely.
There's a wonderful video of him getting out with the ball and using the outside of the foot to set Kulusevski free. And I said to myself, this boy is going to be a champion in this life. And I pray it's with Spurs, and I pray that it's with Ange as well, because my God, he is just... Bergvall, we knew he was good. He just needed match legs. He just needed to experience. And you know what's funny? I put on the Nigerian WhatsApp group, Spurs WhatsApp group, and I said, a friend of mine said to me, and this guy had been watching him in Sweden, he said to me, this boy needs 6 months. He told me after 6 months, he will get acclimatized. And I was like, when I saw him in the game, he had flashes, but he kept on losing the ball. But lately, I've noticed he's growing, he's working out. The more physical the game is getting. He did up until that foul, and let's put it, Diaz died for his one, and then Tsimikas as well. Yeah. He literally did not foul people. He was just collecting the ball. He was positioning himself so well. He would anticipate to get a block, and he glides with the football. Him and Gray, I just don't, to have 2 18-year-olds like that, it's a blessing, and one that I think will reap a very ripe harvest for Spurs. But the Liverpool game was it's a one-off. Everyone goes, yeah, just one game. We're going to play them. But that thing, I think, mentally, from a mindset point of view, coming from where we came from after the Newcastle, well, like you said, we have played very well. It's just we're just not winning games, or we're not taking chances. If you look at those games, Brendan Johnson hit the post. You're looking at all the little fine margins and little things, little tweaks that if Spurs just did those things, we would score. And then honorable mention as well to our brother, our Nigerian brother, English playing for the English national team, Dominic Solanke. What a player! What a striker! Not in terms of just goal. He is the epitome of a real number 9 in the old sense, holding up the ball, because Spurs are playing long balls now. They're playing chip balls in, which according to people, Ange would never do, right? They are doing that now. And he's holding up that ball. He's working tirelessly. He has 16 goals and assists as a combination. He could have had more if there was more, but this is all the things he has to do to get where he's getting to. I still believe he's going to have at least 15 league goals and 20 goals this season. I still believe in that, and I think he will achieve that. But what a player he's been for us.
It definitely has been. It's been, and I think let's even look at Mr. Kulusevski. Come on, Kulusevski has been absolutely amazing this season. It's been off the charts. It's just been magical. You know, I remember the games that he's run. Liverpool, Man United, City. You know, it's just those games. Just be like, God. It just leaves you gasping for air. I said, my God, this guy is. You know? And I guess one of the challenges for Ange is keeping everyone fit, right? And obviously, I mean, hopefully we can. I mean, we had injuries as well. The injuries have been like totally crazy this season. I mean, by the end of the Liverpool game, we had 12 people away. I mean, injured, you know. And okay, some people are coming back hopefully in the coming weeks, but it still leaves us with a lot to do. I mean, we're hopefully going to get some more legs in, or faces in, or bodies in over the course of the transfer window. And some people have been a little bit critical and said that, look, you know where our challenges are as a club in terms of numbers, right? Why don't you get these people in early doors so that they can, integrate into the team quite early? I think that's why they got in Kinski quite early, you know. And the story about, Levi being involved in expediting the deal, you know, also goes to show what's involved in deals. They're not really that easy to close a lot of the times, you know, and then there obviously challenges about FFP and stuff like that they take into account in terms of saying maybe actually making those acquisitions come fast. But there's talk about Kolomoani. What do you reckon?
Well, we talked off air. I think the real interesting thing is nobody, or majority of Spurs' ITK is in the nose. Nobody predicted Kinski. Nobody talked about Kinski. We didn't have any kind of heads up about Kinski, and he just got here. Next thing you know, he's at Spurs. Next thing you know, he's had a medical and he's done. So Kolomoani is taking the news now, but we're not the only ones in for him. Juventus are in for him. I had Manchester United looking at him as well. So I don't know. They say the deal is closed. I'm not a fan of what he brings because I don't think he's an upgrade on Richardson and Brennan Johnson. I think he's quite similar to them in the case, more like even Richarlison, where he's not really a striker and he's not really a winger, or he's just a forward. So I'm not really hyped up about Kolomoani. But if Ange wants, like I said, if Ange wants and Ange signs off on him, then I'm fully on board. But I trust the scouting team because, like I said, Kinski has just shown me that people are doing work. They are doing a lot of work. Bergval showed me they are doing work. Archie Gray shows me they are doing. I saw Archie Gray at Leeds. I love him at Leeds. And for the club to go, look, this boy is about to join another club. We're going to make a bid for him and buy him. And tell him, bro, you're going to play. At some point, you'll play. And now he has. I trust the team fully. So whoever they were, if Kolomoani is the guy, I will always support Tottenham. I will support the decision of the manager. And I'm down for it. But me personally, I don't see how he will fit. But I would love him to prove me wrong. That's the whole thing about Spurs right now.
Thank you very much, Chuma. I mean, if you have any views on with team is playing now, I would love to hear your views on Kinski. I mean, he's been for me the star player of that match against Liverpool. And we have one leg in the final. We have one leg to go. I mean, hopefully we come across on the what's the word, second leg, and hopefully we'll overcome. Yeah. But guys, love to hear from you. Comments, leave the comments, like, subscribe. In the meantime, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.